Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. I don't know why I named myself a MC when I'm a GM this game. We are playing Swoop Gangs, which is my Star Warsy hack of one percenters, a fantastic game that is from Creepy Doll Studios. You can find that on Drive-Thru RPG. In Swoop Gangs, the found family is a gang of swoop bikers, and I've chosen to set this on a place called Spaceport Trident Vespa, which is a spaceport in the middle of Imperial territory, territory known as Zinj's Empire. And Trident Vespa is in the middle of an asteroid field. It is near the edge of Zinj's Empire, so occasionally there are New Republic incursions, because we are playing a bit after Palpatine fell into a shaft, exploded, then in the Death Star that also exploded, therefore he's never coming back. But the New Republic is rising. Zinj's Empire has yet to have been defeated, and that is where we are. In last session, our opening session, we found out a bit about the Lazy Orbit Cantina, which is the front business for the as yet unnamed Swoop Gang. We held off on names because we had a couple players coming this session. We wanted to give them an opportunity to contribute. So after finding out that the Lazy Orbit Cantina had a coup and got a mega Jizz Whaler star, Max Rebo and the Max Rebo band. Although we've only dealt with Max Rebo, so maybe it's just Max Rebo during his like brief solo stint. So it's just Max Rebo. But you guys scored a coup by standing near the arrival point and just holding up a sign that says Max Rebo in Orbish and leading him to the Lazy Orbit Cantina instead of him playing where he was originally scheduled at Unmo's. Unmo, of course, very upset about this, and Max just played last night. You guys have decided he should do an extended arrangement, he being Max Rebo, and currently Max Rebo is back in the president's office at Lazy Orbit Cantina, totally high as a kite on spice with a particular lovely assistant Twillick helping him out and keeping him well lubricated. I don't know. It's Max Rebo. He's an Ortolan. He's a blue elephant guy who plays a big organ with his feet. So who knows what he's into, but the Twillick seems to know. Meanwhile, Unmo decided to get just bloody justice and vengeance by sending his nephew, Dodo, yes, Dodo the Rhodian, his nephew, to Lazy Orbit with womp rat body parts to stick in a soup in hopes of creating a terrible scandal. It nearly did, as one of your regulars, Captain Pashina, got the soup and was pretty upset. But luckily, Slide was able to smooth things over, as she is skilled at doing, and Captain Pashina has accepted a great deal of apologies, and also, he's probably going to get some free not soup for a while. I think you guys talked about bantha cheesesteaks that he quite enjoyed. He let it slide.
Yes.
Yeah, he let it slide that they had just come back. He being a void vulture, a scavenger, a starship scavenger. He and his team just returned from a successful scrap where they got hold of an A-wing engine, and let Slide know a little bit about that, because Slide's just so clever and good at her job. And so that is a thing that's on the table. Let's see. Anything else in our recap, Will, that I have missed?
No, that was good.
Oh man, and I didn't even look at your notes, which I now found the link to. By the way, friends, Will is not only a great player, but also takes copious notes during the game. You'd never even notice it, but if you take a look in our character keeper on the safety and roller tab, he has helpfully linked the notes Google document, which I did not read from, but boy, I wish I had of, because it's really good. There we go. So let's go around the horn and have folks introduce the extant characters, and then we'll introduce our new characters. So I'll start from the left-hand side of our character keeper, heading towards the right. If you could remind us of your name and just a brief sentence or two about your gang member and their rank in the gang. So Steven, you're up first.
Hi, my name's Steven. My pronouns are he, him. And today I'm playing Cutter, KT7R, who is a remanufactured, modified pit droid, who has a chip on his shoulder. He's the enforcer of the gang, carries a big gun, and is maybe not so smart, but eager to punch in people's faces.
Oh, a quick question, KT7R. In the description of the Lazy Orbit Cantina, which I just spruced up a little bit earlier today, the bouncer's station, for some reason, this is in the map. So if you go to the Lazy Orbit Cantina tab, there is a map to the right starting at column AB. Section area 11 is the bouncer's station. And for some reason, probably the best chair in the entire bar is located by this exit door. You're a droid. You wouldn't need such a thing. Why is the best, obviously comfortable, maybe ostentatious, you tell me, chair in the entire bar located at your bouncer station, Cutter?
It's because I'm saving it for a slide.
Aww.
Basically, it had been placed there. I don't use it, but that's so no one else gets it. And whenever slide comes out into the main bar area, they pull it out to use it there. Yeah.
Oh, it's the sweetest.
I am so touched.
Well, we've queued up Danielle, so please introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
I'm playing Slide, or Kelsana Sevic. Kel also doesn't have to be used because apparently been used by multiple people as a PC name, so that is totally chill. She is the treasurer. She is kind of cybernetically modded out. There's some gold on her face. A lot of it is internal. After she had a swoop bike crash incident when she was younger, after growing up as a mining kid on the nearby sort of asteroid mining colony. And so she's in the process of paying that off to a sketchy source, I believe, and she runs the books and likes to let everybody else do a lot of the hard/fun bashing around, and maybe they won't pay attention to how she's keeping the books a little bit. So that's kind of she enjoys tending the bar, and also kind of getting things from one place to another, whether or not people want that to happen or not. Liberating things from people and getting them to others, who might need them more.
Now, Slide is, as I look across the various hog stats, tied for the worst rider in the entire gang. How does she feel about that? Does she care? Does that bother her? Is that a thing she's ever tried to do something about?
I think she feels like the currency that she runs on is being cool, and if she ever is, she doesn't want to ruin that by looking very nervous and slightly PTSD on a bike too much. So I think she probably, kind of leaning into what Steven said, okay, there's a chair for you. I think she probably, even though she has one, she's probably like, hey, let me tag onto your ride, and lets other people drive and kind of hops on the back a little bit. So because I think she's probably has never quite gotten over her anxiety about driving.
Very cool. Very cool. That's interesting. Awesome. And now we lead up to the top of the mountain. Will, please introduce yourself. Tell us about El Presidente.
Yeah, hi, my name is Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of Hyper, who I'm going to rename Hype just because it's easier to say, I think. So it's just Hype now. But Hype is the club president, and he is probably one of the worst candidates for the club president because actually he's mostly just like a racer, like an adrenaline junkie who's drifted around various places. And yeah, he won the presidency of this club in a bet, basically. Like one of the ways that you can win the club presidency, like one of the core rules of the rule book, right, is that like, one-on-one swoop race, winner takes it all kind of thing. And you're not allowed to just abdicate once you've won that. And I don't think that Hype really understood what he was betting for, but now he's the president of a club and it's either you die or you lose a race. And he doesn't plan on either of those things. And Hype is, I guess, like, in last session we saw him sort of de-escalate Cutter a bit. So I think maybe Hype lacks that kind of like violent basis that you probably need to succeed as a proper swoop gang president. Like he's a bit lackadaisical. He's certainly not paying attention to what Slide's doing in the books at all. Because like basically Slide actually takes care of everything and he just puts on a big smile and gets to look pretty cool on his swoop bike every now and again. And that's about it really. So he is pretty adrenaline junkie, like amiable, but probably quite selfish at the end of the day.
I think you've exhibited all of those characteristics. Quite a good description and portrayal. Good work. I am curious about the person who lost the race. Like, did they lose a race to you? Is that a gang member who's still around?
I mean, it could be, couldn't it? I mean, does anyone?
I kind of want to do something with that. So.
Yeah. I think that would be absolutely perfect because I've just seen what species you are as well. And I can't think of a better, more fitting thing, right? Yeah. So is it Juice? Did I beat Juice in a race?
I think Juice threw that race.
well, let's find out. Let's find out, right? Yeah.
Oh, so you beat Juice and maybe Juice threw it. Oh, that's delightful. That is really, really fun. This is the Bad News Bears of swoop gangs. I'm loving it. Cool. Thank you very much, Will. Is there anything else about Hype?
Oh, good.
Okay, and now our new players. Paul, introduce yourself and tell us about the character you've created.
Hello, I'm Paul, pronouns he, him, and the character I'm playing is Grupper. Grupper is a Trandoshan, and literally this morning he has just been released. He's arrived on a prison barge. He's just done some time in a spice mine, deep underground, very little daylight. So he's wearing his mining helmet to cut down on the daylight on this planet, and literally has just stepped off of the prison skiff to return back to the swoop gang.
How long did he serve in the spice mines?
I think he did a 3-year stint.
What injury did he suffer that he still hasn't healed from?
I think it is the poor vision.
Okay, yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, Trandoshans aren't known to have great vision anyway, but his is very subpar now.
Dang.
But it doesn't get in the way when you're smashing skulls. If they're that close, he can see them.
And I assume Grupper went for a crime that he committed for the gang's sake, at the gang's behest?
I think Grupper covered for somebody. And maybe on getting away, Grupper thought, I'm going to have to take one for the team here.
Who among this crew did you cover for?
Who among this crew is still there 3 years ago?
That's true.
Well, I mean, it could be a founder. because they were clearly there 3 years ago.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You cool with that, Greg?
I'm good with that.
Oh,
Did I
that's
set you up or did you take the fall willingly?
I don't know, Greg. What do you reckon?
Juice is probably under the impression that you took it willingly.
Very well. We'll see how far that goes.
So
Okay.
at the very least, that means that it wasn't a complete surprise to Gripper, right? Like it wasn't a sort of like the imps kicked down the door and he's dragged away and he's like, what are you talking about kind of thing.
What have I done? What have I done?
cut to Juice like drinking some really nice blue milk, and some stormtroopers are saying, that's great. It's really great. We're sorry we arrested you. Obviously, it was a mistake. No.
It wasn't me. It was the many-armed man.
I'm imagining it more as like a Gripper, don't worry about it. If we both say, like I've got a way out of this, don't worry about it. And then like, oh, I tried, man. Sorry. It's just who knows? Oop.
I just want to say, like in my head canon, the idea of actually getting out of a spice mine and having served your time without anyone trumping up more charges is a coup. So I'll just queuing that up. Is there anything more about Grupper that you... Oh gosh. So wait. Sorry, just timeline. I interrupted you, Paul, and I apologize. Slide and Hype, were you part of this gang before Grupper was pinched?
I kind of go back and forth. I could see having been around for a little while, but also
maybe you were like pledging at the time?
Yeah, maybe
I
it was
that.
like a new recruit, and I saw that and was like, especially Juice's attitude toward it, and was like, you know what? I am going to make such friends with the person in charge that they will never do this to me, because this is how that's gonna have to be.
Okay.
That would set up the like needing Hype very much connected. But yeah.
Fascinating.
I think Hype is definitely post Gripper's arrest and spice. I think that Hype basically was like pledging, and then we did this thing with Juice, right? Like and he's very definitely like in over his head, but has no idea that he's even standing in water, so yeah, I think that all that Hype really knows about Grupper is that he's a legend, basically. Like he the stories about what he did to those Wookiees, oh my god, if that's true, wow.
There's no if that's true. Obviously it's true. Okay.
I'm curious about because Grupper is the sergeant at arms and Cutter's the enforcer. There's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah, there could be some. I mean, maybe the enforcer was doing sergeant at arms type stuff, and you guys will have to work that out. That's delightful. Let me cut back. Go ahead.
I think Cutter's like in the bar, right? Is kind of in charge there, and I think that Grupper is whenever we're in the field.
Oh, that's cool that you think that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Perfectly logical. So, Paul, to circle back, is there anything else that you want to share about Grupper?
No, I am
okay.
All good.
Excellent. And now we come to Greg, who's playing the founder. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character, please.
Juice is
oh my god, that was amazing.
Juice is a Doug. Doug is Sebulba from the first prequel. Juice founded this gang probably a while ago as a cover business for his off-track betting that he was doing on swoop races. And then when the Imperials moved in and that was kind of a problem to have a swoop gang, he started a cantina cover business for the swoop gang, which is a cover for his off-track betting. He's a bookie Still running that part, in the booths around. I think in the cantina, Juice is probably like in the background as a janitor or something. So you have to know that he is the bookie as well when you come in. It's very low key, or at least Juice is under the impression that it's low key. Yeah. And as the founder, is technically the ranking member, but I do like the idea that he raised hype and purposefully lost so that the pressures and any sort of complications that may come from the Imperial Remnant and or rebels as they move in would definitely go to, oh, he's the president, he's the one in charge.
Oh, this is messed up and amazing. I love this setup. Cool. All right, so I'd like to see if we can squeeze in a quick scene before we have to take our break, and it's got to start. Like, the hottest scene for me is the trawler, the medium class freighter that Grupper is arriving on. And imagine it's one of the totally stealing from Andor, like just this huge kind of slice of a large spaceship. And it's piloted by was it Rex? I think, like the droid that's on the Star Tours. I can't remember that guy. One of those guys, and he like brings it in, lands. There's of course the landing station. It's definitely not an because if you look at the spaceport, there's a bunch of runways, so it's this huge ship that comes in, and they've got the landing, like, what the fuck, the set of stairs there. That's it. I love Star Tours as well. I went like 4 times in a row as a kid. Just like, that's all I wanted to do. I spent more time in line than on the Star Tour, but that's fine. It's Disney. What are you gonna do? And we see families coming off, and all kinds of other aliens, folks being greeted, and then Grupper. And it's bright here, Grupper. What do you do when you first step out, a free man from this gigantic trawler?
I think turning the dial on the side of my helmet, you can see through the visor that the film in there darkens, and I'm sort of looking away from the sun. And there's some maintenance droids scattered about. And I think as I drop, the only possession I've got is like a duffel. And as I drop that on the ground, I spit some sort of like chewing tobacco on one of these droids, and you can hear it ricochet off its head. And then you see me looking across the horizon, who's going to turn up with my hog. Yeah. And people clear away, and I'm still stood there. Time goes by, and I'm still stood there. Does anybody show?
Yeah, so does anyone show? Raise of hands. Juice?
I think Juice would go.
Nice.
I think that hype this would be one of the areas that he does actually take like relatively seriously, right? Like, oh, what, we got like Grupper's coming back? What? Like the one with the Wookiee and the droid, right? There's always a Wookiee in the stories, I think, with Grupper, right? But like, but yeah, like, wow. I mean, did we already strip his bike for parts?
Oh, that was years ago.
I can stay back and fix it. So like Kel is back there trying to make the homecoming happen.
Nice.
So Sly's
nice.
handling the actual homecoming party at the cantina. Hype and Juice are out there. What is Cutter up to?
I think Cutter's back at the cantina, basically trying to make sure that everything, nothing gets out of hand and everything's kind of ready. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So you're back. Slide and Cutter are back. Juice and Hype come to greet. So yeah, Grupper, you look around for a bit, and then Juice and Hype arrive on your swoop bike. It's swoop bike gang, so you got to arrive on swoop bikes, which
Got it.
means you could have to ride co-pilot.
Yeah, and I think I'll walk over to Juice, a many-armed hug.
Cooper.
Bring it in, Juice. Bring it in. You bring the pledge with you? How's it going, pledge? Is? How the hell did that happen, Juice?
Hype like smiles and winks at you over his shades, right? As like does it and like show the president patch like gleams on his chest, right? As he
and I think I'll drop my visor down and give you a salute.
Yeah, but otherwise I will leave these guys to their heartwarming reunion. I'm like, I've heard so much about you, Gruppa. Can't wait to have you back on board, man.
If only half of it was true, it'd be a legend. What the hell is this, Juice? I'm sure my bike I left you was in better condition.
No.
God damn it.
Juice explains that it's like, this is not your bike. Your bike is back at the shop. We got the best mechanic. Don't worry about it.
Man, let's hope nobody sees me riding this crock-a-poodoo.
That's my swoop. That's my swoop. That's my swoop.
Now, Grupper, as you're heading to their swoops, one of the things you notice is that there are stormtroopers here. There is a much larger Imperial presence on the spaceport than before. Before, I think you probably got pinched by imps, but it was mostly spaceport security. You guys were running a bigger job, and that's why you ended up getting in actual trouble.
Man, Juice, I don't know if I can do another term with all these imps around. Looks like life's going to get hard for me.
Juice assures Grupper, no. They're the best. They bet on every race.
Cool. Let's take them for all we can then, Juice. Let's take them for all we can.
Cool. So let's cut to Slide before we're about to go to break. Let's cut to Slide because I'm really curious if you're able to throw back together Grupper's amazing slide.
I feel like Cutter's mechanics would be super helpful in this. I think Slide is trying to remember who was a friend and like who had terrible beef with him, because it's really hard to tell. It's like I always saw Grupper with this guy. Don't know if they were actually friends or if this would be the worst thing in the world to invite them to this party. But yeah, I think she's also like running around trying to secure parts for this bike.
This is going to be karking hard. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, let's see, what regulars do we have? I think she is trying to talk to whoever is the most, whoever we go to normally with parts, whether that's Pashina like we did last time, or whoever.
Well, it's you've got a few options here. If you're looking for parts, of course, Sierra runs Spacenomics, which is a garage,
Right.
and would be the best place for the actual legitimate parts that you need, but also pricey.
Okay.
You could probably chat with Gorsix, the Toydarian, who runs hydroponics, but he also has a side deal on things. So he might be able to hook you up as well. I'm glad I got Greg to crack up with my bad Toydarian.
Love it. Definitely going there then. Definitely going to talk with him, because like, listen, it's been on the bike's been on ice for 3+ years, so it's not gonna.
Yeah. Wait a second, that Trandoshan's coming back. I thought they were gonna bury him. I
Hey.
don't like that guy.
you know what? It's better for you if he's happy than if he's not. Okay. So like, what can you help me? What can you help me with this bike?
You really need. So what we're gonna have to do is modify a few parts. It's not gonna. Top speed's not gonna be the same as it was, I think, but we can make it functional.
Okay. Okay.
Get the next
Yeah.
best thing. Next best thing. And
Okay.
yeah, so let's see if you can give me use some tools here. Sorry to say.
Oh no. Okay. You're right. I guess I'm not. It's not. Is anything illegal? This doesn't fall under smuggling, but I will.
No, but if you see yourself like snagging a few parts that and rather than paying for it, snagging a few parts from Gorsix, then we could work theft in.
Definitely, I think that's the case. And I think she's also like, listen, all Swoop Gang members like to mod their own stuff anyway. So this is just the starter thing. Like we're gonna work, he's gonna trick it out after he gets it as well. But yeah, I think I will definitely spend a couple karks on this as well.
Okay.
And
All right.
this is, in general, this is to get the parts needed to repair the bike, right? I'll toss in a kark, and that could be that Cutter's is the one actually putting the pieces on the bike. Where'd you get this
Sure.
piece of crap from? The Tornarian? What? Yeah, okay.
No, this is good stuff. It's high quality. Okay. Good. So then you've got one kark from Cutter. You're being cool, so that's 3 more. So 4 karks plus tools because you're repairing. So that's 5. You used your theft to try to get a few things. You're up to 6, and you're spending 2 karks for the roll. So you're up to 8 dice. You need 4 successes. So 4 5s or 6s. And I am curious how this will go. Good luck.
Oh, it was not wanting to make that happen.
Wow, it's a lot of ones.
So
I'm so glad I
many.
didn't say tension was involved in the roll, because that could have destroyed you. But instead, it's just a failure. Okay, that's fantastic. And that is what
Great.
we will I get a few minutes to think about it. We're going to take our break here. And when we come back, we'll deal with some cantina stuff, and also Grupper's arrival at the cantina. See you guys in a few. Okay, we're back. Now, before we jump into the delightful arrival of Grupper to get his beloved swoop bike, which is little worse for wear, let's do a little bit of mechanical stuff, because one of the things about Swoop Gangs that I literally stole from the amazing game Nawal is the front business. I wanted to have some mechanics behind it, and there's a little bit of world building we get to do too. So with 2 new players, one of the things we saved for either of you is you get to pick a regular. So regulars are NPCs who often come to the lazy orbit. They're in your corner, but occasionally come with their own problems. You have chosen the previously Adagawa, an ex-pit fighter who never quit until his body quit on him. Captain Pashina, the Void Vulture captain who spins big when he scores big. And Sarge, a stormtrooper with a drinking problem. He's open to doing extra legal stuff for the right motivation. And there are a few others, but of course you can suggest. In fact, Captain Pacino wasn't in the list, and someone said, hey, that's really cool, I want that. So if you see other NPCs in our NPCs tab for Spaceport folks, feel free. Gorga the Younger is not a patron. And by gosh, by the stars, Unmo Zatowu will never step foot in the Lazy Orbit Cantina again. But Greg or Paul, do any of these regulars or NPCs, Spaceport folks, interest you?
I think the retired swoop ganger with a taste for Jawa juice.
Juan Grande.
Yeah, Juan Grande. Maybe let's put it to the table. Was he in our swoop gang or a rival swoop gang?
I mean, my impression so far is that we're all. Is he
Juan
more
Grande.
interested? Yeah, Juan Grande. Is he the big one? Is he
He's the big one. Exactly.
I mean, if he's retired, he's a regular hours, so he can't be in bad terms with, he can't be like he was kicked out of the gang kind of thing, I
Right.
guess, right?
Exactly.
It makes
Otherwise he'd never
sense
show his
that
face.
it makes sense that he could maybe be from a retired one or a rival gang or
Yeah.
one that doesn't exist anymore because he
Ooh.
got him, like he did something and like everyone else blew up in this horrible thing and he's the only one left.
Yeah, other gang, maybe I like the idea that this gang has been, like back in the day kind of thing, back when it was our gang that's still yet to be named, I think, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I can play with Juan Grande from a previous gang that is now no more.
Awesome. Greg, I wanted to get, since you're new and didn't get to throw in on the previous three, would you be interested in picking the species for Juan Grande? And you don't have to do this right this sec if you want to.
You're on mute.
You're muted,
Okay,
Greg.
there we are. You're muted. Okay.
So muted. So Juan Grande is a bit of a misnomer because Juan Grande is a Celestin. It's a little alien. Yeah.
Nice. Yes, thank you. The Celestins are like Lando's co-pilot who Nien Nub, who was just, randomly killed in the sequel movies with no fanfare whatsoever. But that's okay. We're not butthurt about it.
And I think Juan did help me fix races in the past. Right.
Nice.
And maybe I still lean on Juan to do that on occasion.
Although you say Celestin as in co-pilot, but also Mandalorian, I have spoken, guy. That is one of my favorite Celestins.
No, he is a
No, what am I saying? Crap. Sorry. That's right. He is
Take away
Don't
your Star
commit
Wars
to
card.
poker, Rich.
I screwed it up. That's it.
Be
I'm
honest
out of here.
yourself.
Wow, I am the worst. That is Cooley, who is not a Celestin, but an Ugnaught.
He's an Ugnaught. Yeah.
Worst,
Good deal.
Rich. Oh, I'm going to turn in my nerd card today. That's it. Oh, man. Can I make up for it by
They
showing you
have
a
a
Celestin
similar,
picture?
yeah, a similar lip thing.
Yeah, no, there's no saving that, Blewett. It's the worst. Google has shown me a delightful picture of a Celestin, which I'll share with you as an apology for screwing up. There you go. It's a Celestin. Chef, like what even? That's great. Awesome. So I'm going to say that time hasn't passed enough to do our bar back bus and tend at this point, just because we had a short session last week and we have a pretty hot bit of stuff going on here. So with Juan Grande chosen and placed in our NPCs, and we'll find a picture for him that isn't a guy with a cute chef's hat. We will figure it out. That guy's name evidently is Borkus, according to yeah, that's just great. Borkus. Yes, totally Dex's Diner vibe. Grupper. Do you ride behind Juice on Juice's ride, or do you ride with Hype? I imagine Hype's ride's a little bit. Is it in better condition, Hype?
I mean, I think it would probably make more sense for Juice and Grupper to be on the same bike together, right? Like Grupper, like talking to Juice as they go, and like Hype just like cruising along, maybe with like headphone, like the Star Wars equivalent of headphones in, just up in front, unaware of maybe the things that are being said about him, or kind of the whole situation.
Cute.
But surely our returning Patch Brother is the one who gets to actually drive the bike back, right? Like Juice doesn't strike me as a guy who's particularly up on the he's happy to hide behind people, is what I've gathered so far, basically, right?
Oh, that's a fine question. How does Juice feel about letting Grupper drive?
Oh, that's fine. You know, let him get it out of his system.
Nice.
I think you may regret that. I am a terrible hog.
You are a bad rider. Oh, wow. That pick of Juan Grande is great. That definitely looks like a guy who should retire. I love that. Good choice. Nice work. I want to do a little bit of world building with you guys. Let's say that as we take a look at Spaceport Trident Vespa, the Lazy Orbit Cantina is located in a crater that came from an asteroid strike. So I've been imagining that the orbit wasn't right in the space lanes, that it was just a little not off the beaten path, as you could walk to it, but you wouldn't want to walk to it. Ooh, the Trident Horde is a great name. Good work. That is definitely Juan's old gang who aren't around anymore. I'd like for each of you guys to think for a moment and then tell us something in Spaceport Trident Vespa that Grupper notices that has changed. Perhaps for the worse, perhaps something brand new. I'm just really curious. What are some of the things that over the last 3 years are different about this spaceport that Grupper might notice in the ride from where he had landed in lane 1 or lane 2? That's right. It would have been lane 2, because that's where the large spaceships land, all the way out to Lazy Orbit Cantina. If you get an idea, just jump
Any
in.
of us?
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, this is to the table.
Oh,
I'd like to have at least 3 ideas of things that are
Um,
fine. Trandoshan says.
my idea is that it's a lot busier, weirdly enough, and maybe you can say that that's not like it used to feel a little more out of the way, but there's like the streets are a little more crowded. There's like a little bit more variety of people. Not that like the tone has risen per se, but there's more people, or more. It's gotten like we're doing more business with the mining. There's, we've added more stuff. We have this cantina, the Imperial presence.
Oh,
It's harder to hide stuff, perhaps.
nice. Oh, and that does remind me. Thank you so much, Danielle, for that mention. During Danielle's talk about her character, she mentioned that she's from an asteroid colony that is nearby. So that is something I want to make sure and remind us of that exists, because Rich will definitely be pulling from that very soon. Cool. Thank you for that.
Much like people, will say that old New York was cooler before it got all cleaned up. There's like whatever the Star Wars equivalent would be of like chain restaurants have moved in, and the local places have been moved out So that there's just fewer like the watering hole that we went to before we had our own cantina, right? It's gone. And the place you would go for, good roasted porg has been replaced by some sort of commodification.
That's what I was going to say. Was
The
exactly
true
the same thing.
evil of the empire is what we're talking about. Okay. like
So I
it.
think that your favorite noodle shop that served that roasted pork like in a bowl isn't there anymore, and it's now the fast food franchise. I kid you not, this is real. Tasty dried critters.
That's insane.
TDC's slogan is, it's not fast food, it's fresh food delivered fast.
And I would just say that the other one is that it didn't have the patrol of TIE fighters that screams overhead as
Oh,
we go around. The
yeah.
Imperial didn't have the, the imps were around, right? Because that's when Gripper took the fall, but like it's only increased since then, right? They're being paid off, but they're there.
Love it.
Iba, tasty die creatures. No, it's a bleh, bleh.
Too right, Juice indeed. It was never like that. That stuff makes me spew.
And then you come to the Lazy Orbit Cantina, your old home. And outside, you still has the same hastily scrawled graffiti, although it's changed over. They've painted and then new graffiti showed up. There are a few pockmarks from old blaster holes. You probably remember at least one of them fondly because it didn't hit you, it hit the wall. And the flickering video slab that says Lazy Orbit in Arvesh and probably a few other languages. Is it in Trandoshan as well? Or do they have a written language? I would hope so.
Oh no, let's go with just a verbal language. That sounds good.
Nice and guttural. Awesome. And parked right outside is what looks like your ride. It still has the same handles. It's got a fresh coat of paint on it, which looks nice.
I think I'm going to walk by it, literally quite a few feet by it, just thinking it's somebody else's bike, and then clearly there'll be some marking on it that I know it's mine. I'm just going to stop, turn round, and drop to my knees. Juice, what the hell have you done to my bike?
Oh, Satna! No, it's a Slido. Slido is a Bordeaux.
You let a pledge touch my bike? What
No,
the
it's not
hell?
pledge. No, Slido is a treasure.
What the hell you done, pledge?
I think Slide comes out hearing the commotion, and she's like, Gruppa, nice to see you. What, you don't like your bike? We had it pulled out of mothballs especially.
And then
I think
a
the
piece
moths have
just
eaten
falls, and a piece of it just falls and hits the ground.
Oh, my bike. This is going to take years to repair.
Hey,
I couldn't ride it very well anyway.
Hey, it's fine, Gripper. We're gonna get hold of some sweet parts soon. Like, don't worry, there'll be stuff to go around. I'm sure it's fine. And like leans on the swoop bike, right? And it just like sinks heavily into the ground. Like there's a repulsor lift just sort of like gutter out and slam down onto the ground. Like yeah, it'll all be.
I thought we had a pit droid to deal with this. What's the pit droid been doing?
Oh, I think that's the time.
And I think that's when Cutter gets up in your face and was like, I've been taking care of things is what it is. Besides, we wouldn't want to mess with your bike. You've got to take it over. You don't like it? Take it up with us. Come on.
You've ruined it, man. This is You should have just been fixing things. That's what you used to do. What have you
Hey,
been
listen.
doing?
Listen, Cutter's been there's been a lot of enforcement that's had to go on. Okay. He's been in the shop, he's been in the cantina, he's been out on the gangs. Look, I honestly, I'm sorry if it does not look up to par. We're having to cut corners, you know. I'm sorry. You mentioned Pledge. I'm Slide. Nice to see you again. I run the books around here, so you know, Juice sent the accountant to do this. So hey, you know, the president, we're gonna have to run some jobs to make things flush, to bring us back to our former glory, I think.
We've just been waiting for you, Grupper. We've just been waiting. You know, we've been waiting for the legend to come out of prison. And Slide's the treasurer now. I don't think you can really call her Pledge anymore, you know? So, but, you know,
You and
we've
Slide
got,
are always going to be pledges to me, Prez.
well,
Juice is making
old
like a
man.
little talking puppet noise thing with his hands behind hype.
Oh man, let's get inside and get a drink.
yeah, we got some Jara juice. We got it all, man. You'll like it. And hey, we got Max Rebo in back. You know Max Rebo?
Oh, Max Rebo? There ain't no finer player than Max Rebo. I've been dreaming of hearing Max Rebo.
I could just about hear it through the walls from the guard's office, kind of thing. It's what gave me hope at night. Yeah.
When
Cool.
they remixed it, that was the worst. You got to have original Rebo.
I mean, we got to have a messy party, right, to celebrate the return of a guy from prison.
I was
Oh,
thinking about
yes.
sort of a flashback scene here, with Juice, like, you know, I don't know how excited the spaceport would actually be for Grouper to come back. But like paying off some people to like, hey, we're gonna have a party. This Max Rebo party. Grouper's gonna be there. Like, oh, I'll pay you to be there.
Nice. I love this idea. I think this is fantastic.
Maybe even paying some people off to like purposely get in a fight with Grouper to make him
just
feel
throw like just pull down now.
Oh, yeah.
That's harsh. So harsh. Cool. Yes, I think the idea of you guys having a celebration. Now, you don't have much profit, as pointed out by your accountant. So you you could blow some profit and make a celebration.
I was just gonna
roll.
put it to a roll. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Juice can promise a whole bunch of things and maybe not necessarily deliver them.
Maybe. So let's put it to a roll. So there is a mechanic in Lazy Orbit Cantina tab called Celebration. You go out as a gang together to party. Roll with profit spent, max +3 against a simple difficulty, 1 success needed. If you succeed, everyone who attended gains back 3 karks. On a miss, everyone regains 1 kark, but you party too hard and wake up in some serious trouble. What were you going to throw up?
Well, as president, Hype definitely thinks that it's party time, you know, and it may not make much financial sense, but by God, when someone comes out of prison, you have to throw a party, right? Like, you have to. So I think that's where I'm coming at it from as a character sort of thing, right? Like, and we can we gain back 3 karks. We can just gain the extra karks, right? Like,
yeah, you can gain
cool.
extra karks.
There's not like a limit, is there, to karks that you can have? You know what I mean?
There is not a limit.
Yeah. So if that's cool, should we have a celebration? And you know, I like the idea of a miss. You party too hard and wake up in some serious trouble, because like I think that actually like fights, old scores being settled, that kind of thing would be a definitely fun outcome for a missed roll, right?
Indeed.
Cutter is definitely out in the mix and, like, you know, throwing his weight around and hitting a few people. And
Who gets
Grupper, you want to mix it up? Come on, let's do it.
Who gets to roll the celebration?
I think the president should roll the celebration.
Okay. So we have no profit anymore, guys. Just, you know.
You've blown your profit, but you made
Yeah.
the right choice.
I did say I was going to be a bad president, okay? Like,
No, it makes sense. I was saying that we were poor as a character thing, but it really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool. And can you please check up one on the expenses track as well?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a roll. Single D6. You're looking for a 4, 5, or 6.
Oh, it's a 1.
Well,
Don't you roll plus against? No.
you got to, you roll
No.
profit spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
again, this is a playtest, so love the feedback about, is that fair to think about it? But you've just rolled a 1, which is not a success. So the good news is everyone gains a kark, and I actually think regains probably needs to be rephrased. So, so you gain a kark. How does Grupper take this? There are a bunch of regulars that you recognize. There are lots of new people. Is Max Rebo carted out from his spice hazed back area to perform for you on his little red ball organ? That sounds fun. And I think Max is like, hey, I just wanna let you know I wrote a song for our returning Grupper. It's a little ditty. And then he sings, but you guys failed. So it's obvious that he's written this song for someone else and just says Grupper every once in a while, because the person described in the song is a Wookiee because it's like the long flowing hair. Max Repo's doing his best, but yeah, how does Grupper handle that?
I think I'm stood at the side of his organ. That sounds wrong in many ways. Yeah, and I think I'm down in Jawa juice, which I actually don't think I'm particularly good at metabolizing, and I'm crushing these cans on my helmet, and as he's spinning the ivories, I think I sort of like stumble and then just fall on his organ and yeah, just all Jawa juice all over his organ. Yeah.
Oh,
But,
no.
He's as high as a kite. He doesn't care.
I think that's got to be like everything goes silent and then, yeah.
Actually, both like, I guess I'll sing, man. Easy will wheel over and try to hub between the keys of his organ, the red ball jet organ, trying to clean it so he could play again. And he just grabs a mic, scoots back away, and continues the song. What were you going to say, Hype?
I was just wondering, do the crickets hear about the return of Grupper to the the
Oh.
rival gang? And like, while
certainly.
we're having a party, does someone come and try and rumble at the door when our pit droid, right? Like,
Yeah. So, Cutter, you are, I mean, they're all getting in their cups. You don't care about this kind of stuff. How are you? What are you doing during this party?
I'm picking fights. I'm like out in the
Nice.
crowd, everybody's drinking, and I'm like, every once in a while, I'm like someone who's not spinning enough. I pick them up and toss them out the front door, and I'm like, no.
Nice. So you are in the middle of tossing out the front door, not a regular, like just some person that people obsess about on Reddit as to what actor played them later. And you're standing outside, maybe tell them don't come back. And that's when you see walking up, because the cricket gang isn't a swoop gang. They're grounders. You see them with their wooden bats, because they are a sports team. That's their cover, to walk around with wooden bats that they use to wail on people. And Red is right in front. She just tosses the bat over her shoulder. Hey, I heard that there's something going on here, dumb.
It's a party, skank.
She reaches into her pocket and she pulls out and just starts tossing up with her left hand a restraining bolt.
Oh, I think I just I just rush her. Yeah. I think
Nice.
Actually, I think I'm gonna haul her back into the cantina. The party's on, and I'm gonna rush her. Yeah.
Okay. Let's. What is the intent here? To just pull her in? I assume this is part of a fight, but it's a brawl kind of fight, not a I'm trying to kill you fight. Is that right? Or what is Cutter
Yeah,
doing here?
yeah. It's I think he's basically Cutter's basically trying to say, hey, it's not, you can't come around to this place and just mouth off. This is our place, and he's going to it's not the intent to hurt, it's the intent to teach. Right? Yeah.
Gonna teach him a lesson. That sounds amazing.
Sophisticated violence.
Very, very sophisticated. All right. I think you are extremely outnumbered, and the cricket gang object to their gang leader just being droid handled, because it's not man handled. Droid handled by you, Cutter. So I'm going to say that tension is involved in this role because they are here to put a hurting on people. We haven't had a tension involved role yet. What tension means is that now if you roll ones, they draw down your kark. So you could end up with a Pyrrhic victory in that you've rolled enough successes, but it drains you out of karks. You could also end up being just perfectly fine. This is going to be a karking hard thing for you to do, Cutter, to get out of this unscathed. You're going to need 4 successes to be able to droid handle Cricket, Red, and her crickets.
Okay. So I think that's going to be badass, which is 3, hands, which is another 3, so that's going to be 6. And I'll toxin a kark and roll 7.
I will toss you a kark because Juice is throwing glasses at them, and just any glass that Juice can get off of a table, he's throwing.
Perfect.
Wow. Okay. So that
Roll
means you
my
definitely at least get
8d6.
some people in. 8d6, and you need 4 5s or 6s, and 1s are going to hurt. Oh, is that the roll?
I got 2 1s, and I got 5 successes.
Oh my gosh. That is wicked. I think you take a couple hits. You end up with the restraining bolt that Red brought, but you pull her in to, I don't think there's a mosh pit here. Is there, Grupper? It's just people kind of dancing and, I don't know, violent. Is there a fight, Grupper? Like, what do you want? This is your party. How violent is it? Before Red and the crickets come rolling in and make it super violent.
I don't think it was too violent. No, it was people having a good time. You know, these are regulars or other members of the gang. So no, it was more of a good time. Well, it was when I was conscious.
True. After the sick, things got worse. The crickets come in and things roll. They have a sizable number. They're about the same size as you guys, but they don't have swoop bikes. This fight spills past Cutter, but Cutter, you and Red are going at it. She is tough. But you're tougher.
Does Cutter throw a cricket through one of the windows, like onto the floor, like, and there's just suddenly a cricket like on the floor.
Yeah.
Fight.
Sweet. Yeah, I think everyone starts to throw. Juan Grande, after he sees you throw a bunch of glasses, Juice, you see he like reaches over and grabs a couple of other people's mugs of Jawa juice. He's just drinking in the corner. Hype, when all this happens, you see Max Rebo scooted back from his organ, sings a little bit, and then it's just doing this like, I'm still singing from the microphone, but I'm moving towards the door. What do you do, Hype?
Max Rebo can slink off in the chaos. It's fine. I think I run over to I grab like one of the jugs of Jara juice out of Juan Grande's hand and I splash it over Gruppa's face and I'm like, "Come on, man! I heard this is your gig. Come on!" Slapping him awake, basically.
Fight!
Nice. Slide, I see that you maybe perhaps are a little worried about the amount of glasses that Juice has thrown at various cricket members. This fight's starting to get loud, rambunctious. Things are being broken. There's a member of the crickets who grabs one of the booth tables and like rips it up and is going to try to beat someone with it. This is going to be very pricey. What do you do, Slide?
I am damage controlling. I think she is looking to see people who are like being thrown, like if she's behind the bar, bodies that are thrown across, she's looking to see what's on them that they're not going to notice that she can take off. And especially, if it happens to be incriminating evidence on some of these rival gang people, or just little baggies of mysterious substances, she's like, all right, I'm going to have to like harvest some profit from this if I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. They'd be like, hey, get back out there, man. Well, I've lifted something from them.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Slide, I don't think this is going to be nearly as difficult as what Cutter was doing. We'll call it hard though, because there are a lot of eyes and it is pretty hectic. Tension is involved in this role as well, because you're kind of insinuating yourself in the parts of this fight.
Okay. Yes. Well, yeah, I am definitely risking getting elbowed. So that's 3 for to be cool and 1 for theft. And I don't know which is that hands for.
I think you're patting people down. That makes sense
Yeah.
to me. Yeah.
Okay. So is that, do I add 2
5,
for that?
6.
Or
Yes, you do. So you start with 3 for being cool, 2 for hands because you're patting people down and
Okay.
trying to lift stuff, 1 more for theft, so that's a total of 6.
Okay.
Difficulty is 3. Any ones that you roll will draw down your carks. Do you want to spend any carks to give yourself bonuses?
I don't think I do, because it could also be a 1 and hurt me. Well,
The good news is the highest number of carks you can lose is the difficulty of the roll. So the most you'll lose is 3.
okay. Well, almost. It is a bit
It is not your night.
no.
Slide, you what you do is you lift a few things, you end up with some like calamari flan, like these little wobbly credits, and then you see a good payday off of someone who isn't a regular, so you're never going to see them again. But at the time that you're moving over to go filch some creds from them, they're not involved in the fight, but someone gets thrown onto their table. You see the perfect opportunity. You start to move over, and that's when you catch sight of a Kutagawa. Now, Kutagawa was one of your regulars, and he stood up to try to defend the orbit from these crickets. And he is getting wailed on by a couple of crickets. Like, you think you hear the crack of a bone. He's in a bad way. So you've got a hard choice here. I'll give you, if you go ahead and ignore Kutagawa getting hurt, I'll let you get a profit worth here. Kutagawa's rough shape. What do you do?
I think that I have to lean into the fact that she has some heart here. I think she does, she looks at it, she just sort of scowls, and then she heads toward Kutagawa and probably grabs something off the table that she was headed to and just throws it at their heads and is like, hey, knock it off. You know, it just gets loud.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Won't make you go to dice again, because at your current rate, that could go even worse for you. Dice not loving you today. So we know Cutter is in for a penny, in for a pound with red. You win the fight. What ends up happening to red?
So I think what happens is at some point I grab that restraining bolt and it gets tossed off into like one of those little sconce things that they have, and it, you know, that kind of stuff. And red throws a couple of good punches and gets me all kind of, you know, in there, like gets me in an arm lock and like pull something and the arm starts to spark and everything, but then I get back on top of her. And I think I reach over and I grab that restraining bolt. It's now like red hot. And I push it into her forehead and leave a little scar of that restraining bolt and say, there. And then just leave her there lying on the floor.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So Grupper, you've pitched back into the fight. I'm curious what's going on with Juice. We know that you threw some glasses, but you've been kind of quiet here. You saw Max Rebo take off Juice.
And that's
There's a
where
lot of fights going on. What are you
Juice
doing?
is throwing glasses, but once he sees Max Rebo start to like make the way towards the exit, Juice isn't gonna let that slide. Sorry, slide. So Juice is like probably like going on top of people's heads, you know, like crab crawling across the top of the crowd, making a beeline for Max Rebo. And like corners him at the back of the bar and just starts laying into Max Rebo about how this is all his fault. He played that song. It started this fight. And he needs, if he's going to leave, he's got to pay up for all that spice. He's got to pay up for, you know, all the time he spent with the waitress in the back room. Like, hey, you can't leave without pay.
Ooh, that is
Hola, Max Rebo. As a no. As a did bola. As a no. And the other class. No.
that's awesome. Let's see if you're able to get what you want out of Max Rebo. You're definitely talking. This is a jaw roll without a doubt. Which Juice is pretty good at a jaw. Not the best, but you think he's being cool? You think he's trying to be a badass here?
Oh no. Oh yeah.
You didn't threaten him, did you? There was no threat of violence.
No, he's just trying to appeal to his...
I should lean into that because I would get the extortion there. I think it's just like I'm grabbing like both his like, oh, it's his arms, right, where he plays. Like I've grabbed his fingers, right? Like I will ruin your career.
There we go. That I do think that'll give you the benefit of extortion, but it feels like you're not super cool at this point. Yeah.
So that's 3, that's 4.
I think
I think it's a cool way to shake someone down for the drug money that you forced upon them. You know, the debt that you extorted from them. It's always a badass move.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. I could believe in that. Your difficulty is going to be you're offering him like you pay, you get out of here. That's part of this offer. Just making sure I understand it.
Yeah. Like
or that
you
Max
can
would
leave, but you
understand.
got to pay for all this damage that you've caused, and
Okay.
all the drugs you took, and all of the
Okay, cool. Then I will say that the difficulty is normal, but it's in the middle of a fight. Therefore, there's still tension.
I could take a
involved
chair to
in
the back of the head. Okay.
You could.
So that's 3, that's 4. That's it.
Well, I think that Will
badass,
lobbied for you
Jaw.
to be badass, and Jaw would make it 5, and then extortion would make it 6.
No,
So you're
I'm
rolling a 6.
cool. I'm cool. So
Okay, so you are
it's
determined
3.
to stick with cool. Okay, so you're.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I got confused there. So I'm using jaw.
Mhm.
I think this is badass. I think this is
Okay,
Yeah, this is the heat of the moment.
that's fair.
So 3, 4 is the extortion, and I will throw 2 karks at it.
Okay.
For a total of 6.
And this is a normal difficulty because he really does want out of here. And
That's 3 or 2.
sorry, normal is 2.
All right, gotta have some sort of money. Here we go. Well, that's 2, but I take 2 karks.
Woof. So I think it's a thing where Lex Repo does the math and he goes, you can sell the organ. It's more than enough. And then he skates out, and that here's our 2 karks lost as somebody sticks their head in and screams out, "Boys in white! Boys in white!" So evidently the imps are on their way. They've been called by someone.
We need to end this quickly then.
Yeah. At that point, the crickets realize, I mean, they're not gonna turn tail here if you keep up the fight, but they certainly don't want to be here if the imps show up, because they're just going to throw everybody in a wagon. And you just got out, Grupper. Hype, you're the president.
I mean, I woke Gripper if I was imagining that we'd take on, like rally some of the regulars and like drive off like the wider band of crickets, like so that by the time the imps come, basically like it's a bunch of us just sort of like, what? All over, officer, nothing to see here, kind of thing, but we've got to drive off the crickets like in a rout, basically.
Okay. Then I think you're trying to rally the troops for one last push so you guys can make things scarce.
Do we roll it as Grupper like fighting, and or do we roll it as me like let's kick these bugs out of our bar, guys, like which one do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
The hardest cricketer, Rich, male, female?
Red's the hardest. She's the leader through
But she's being
just
dealt with.
tenacity.
Who's the next one down then?
Yeah, the next one down, I think, hey, let's just play into Grupper. We'll say that it is a Wookiee.
A Wookiee.
A Wookiee.
I'm gonna kick those 2 cricket balls of yours, and they're gonna call it a 6, Wookiee. Ramming speed, like charge.
Love it.
Across the bar to stick it to him.
So that will be a Lat Bash, who is Red's second in command, and that is going to be some trouble. Love it. Cool. So Grupper's leading the roll. Then you're trying to finish these guys off and get them the hell out of the bar, so that when the stormtroopers come in, no one is actively fighting.
Yeah, there'll be people. The janitor will be sweeping the floor. Very low key music. Yeah, just sat at tables. What's the problem, sir?
The light swings and falls down behind us, right? Like, yeah, oops.
The mirror.
I love the idea. I hope that you are successful. We're going to say tension again involved in the role here. It is going to be a hard role because you're making him basically tuck tail and flee.
Yeah, I think my aim is that like we're showing the crickets that it wasn't the Stormies that ended this fight. It was us 100%, that like you were lucky that the Stormies came because we would have killed you if you didn't, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Really like show them who's boss, basically.
Love it. So
I will throw I will throw in karks as well, Paul. So I can throw in
Okay.
one kark, right? Like one kark.
Yeah, that's super. So it's definitely badass. You know, this
Definitely.
is Hanta. Yeah, well, should we go with let's keep the flavor up. I did say I was going to kick him where it hurts. So let's go with feet.
Okay.
Because you can follow, you know, head, hands, feet. So yeah, feet. Badass. So we're at 5. Then it's assault. So is that another 1?
Yes, that would be another 1.
6 dice. Let's lob in a card.
1 from me as well.
Yep. 6, 7, 8 dice.
8 dice is pretty good.
D6. Oh, that costs. That is not good. 4 1s. 1 6, 1 4, and 2 3s.
It's weird. I don't see the roll yet.
Yeah, I don't see it. What can you share the URL you're using? I wonder if you're using the original one from
I did
the
a
email.
refresh and I see it now.
Oh, you do?
Okay.
Oh,
I think
weird.
So. Wait,
Unless we're in a unless Stephen, we're in a completely different room.
No,
I went off the one that was in the original email.
Okay,
from
that's my
week
bad.
ago.
We switched. That's fine. It'll count, but I'll give you the correct URL. We switched to a different URL so that Will could use
sent
it.
an email, didn't you? Or it's in Slack, one of the two. An email.
It's okay.
I'll get your email.
My bad.
And
My
I
bad.
just looked. The update that I saw was from Juice, not from Grepper. So
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
They were helping me out with a different dice stream that I can read on my laptop, basically. So
Okay.
it's me again, Paul.
Always ruining it for me. Yeah. So I've only got 2 successes and 4 1s, so it's going to cost me 4 karks.
oof.
What was the
Ooh.
difficulty?
The difficulty was hard, so 3. So you only
yeah.
lose 3 total cards. Thank you for.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, that's the good news.
That's the good news. But clearly, way too much Jawa juice.
Wow.
Yeah, I ain't kicking him where it hurts.
I think what happens, Grupper, is you grab Latbash, the two of you fight, you're going tooth and nail, and you end up like either you through or Latbash through, or you both you end up slamming out of the bar, both of you landing on the ground right as the APC, the rich, coveted as a child, little trooper carrier thing that we get to see in Mandalorian come sliding up with a bunch of stormtroopers piling out, and they're right there. Throw your hands up. And they got their blaster carbines aimed at you guys. These stormtroopers have come in, and I think this is like TV show. This is where we would like quickly speed through some time. Grupper and Latbash are going to be arrested for disturbing the peace. But I don't want Paul to have to be all by himself. So who else gets arrested here? Hype, Cutter, or Juice? Cutter?
Yeah.
I mean, I think hype was. I think like a bunch of us. You know what I mean? Like it's basically like
I like that. Oh,
we
yeah.
might-
let's
we
just
might
do
all be
the
in, like,
like
cells for a
Seinfeld
different
thing where
amount of time.
you're
Yeah.
all in the public lockup. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Cool. We have we did take an extended break, but I'd like to take like a quick bio break if that's okay. So
Great.
let's take a quick bio break. So the 4 of you slide talked our way out of it. Somebody had to stay back at the cantina and take care of things and clean stuff up. Let's, slide pulled the innocent. Oh, my cyberware is glitchy or something. I'm not sure. Whatever she said, it worked. And she is not here with
Well,
you.
Slide's probably the one who actually, when we do bribe the Imperials, is the one who pays the bribes, right? So it's probably the one who's the most likely for an Imperial just to go like, close the door and walk off.
Latbash is here, as well as Red. So the crickets and you have both been separated. You're in different lockups, but you can see each other. Grupper, running out of alcohol, is that detrimental for you or beneficial for you?
I think it's beneficial because I haven't had alcohol unless it was prison hooch let's say I haven't had alcohol in a long time. That's why I went from hero to zero so quickly in the cantina.
Makes sense. A bummer for you. So yeah, things are rough for poor Grupper. What a welcome back to the free world after such a long time serving.
I think Cutter actually leans over to Grupper and is like, just like old times, welcome home.
It is indeed, Cutter. I don't think I could do another stint though. This ain't for me. We gotta get out of here. I ain't going back.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
This isn't anything, Grupper. This isn't. Look, the imps come down. Look, you guys kicked ass. Like fist bump. Where can I
Juice
find
said
the?
that last time. Juice said
Yeah.
that last time that nothing would happen. 3 years later, man, I could have beaten someone. I could have been a contender.
Metagame wise, where do I find? It's in the 4 rules, isn't it? The how you regain karks.
Yes, it is in the full rules, which is linked at I-43. I can also throw a link into folks.
I've found
down at the bottom.
I was gonna lean into one of those. I think Juice goes over to Cutter. And just starts talking about Amara, your near human mentor. And how, I'm not sure Amara's told you this story, but she was at the cantina one time, and her and I also both ended up in jail. As part of I don't know, I think she was also like betting on we were trying to fix a swoop bike race together, and the Imperials got wind of it because they had all bet on the losing side. I had set them up.
Nice.
I'm like, no, Amara didn't tell me about that. She always berated me for getting put in jail and told me she thought better. Didn't know that she actually ended up in jail herself. Yeah. Fascinating.
It's no Amara.
I think with what Stephen sort of started here, I mean, this is looking at sort of like an in-cell bonding scene.
Yeah.
Cutter said, flashback to a previous time that we'd spent time in a clink, and with that story Juice just said, I definitely think it's a looking back to past times. There's nothing else to do in here, so I think spin some ditties about the good old days.
Yeah, and I think Hype is like, listen, like sort of looking like pretty chilled here and just like listening to the old stories and like, oh, no way, like really, wow, 3.
I think Juice is letting Grupper get away with a little more exaggeration.
We really did.
Juice was there and it wasn't really like that, but Hype's into it, so
we really did stack 3 swoop bikes on top of each other. It was amazing.
What a story. After you guys finish the story, then we will engage the mechanics, bonding scenes, 2 or more swoop bikers share a scene together, which the bonds of the group are strengthened. 5 karks are awarded, and you get to split it however you want. It's 5 total karks. You split it where you would like, and if there's no, you can do it by rank. You can do it by someone.
I don't think I
suggests.
take any karks because I also didn't lose any. I didn't roll. I didn't do like a roll, so I didn't lose any ones or anything.
True.
So someone lost 3 karks in one go, I think, right?
5.
5, yeah. But I think
Juice
Paul
is in a bad
takes-
way. I'll just
Yeah,
say.
I think Juice takes 2, Gripper
Cutter
takes
is.
2, and Cutter takes 1. Right? Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
You're the prez.
But yeah, I like the fight ends in the bonding scene in the jail cell, right? It's like I think maybe even the crickets are like 1 ear out to some of the stories. Like, no way, that's how Big Joe got that limp. I always wondered.
And then at the after that has concluded and we do the mechanics of that, there's a trooper that comes up, and it's Sarge. He's still has his helmet on because he's being a stormtrooper right now.
Yeah, I need to talk to Jalam Ron. Which one of you guys is Jalam Ron?
Stand up, like, yo.
And a couple of stormtroopers have carbines like pointed in, and then the force screen is lifted, and he steps in and grabs you by the arm roughly, but he's not actually squeezing to hurt. And
I'm imagining one of the other stormtroopers like goes to like cuff me, and he just sort of like pulls me out of the way slightly, and he's like, oh, it's okay to the other Stormy, right? Like,
Yeah, I got it.
Don't
Come
say
on.
anything, Prez. Don't say anything. There's no evidence.
so you get drug along, and then he pushes you into an interrogation room. I don't think we've seen a Star Wars interrogation room that didn't have a table with that, but I think instead we have the more classic police drama metal table with the rings on it that they can put the binders into.
I mean, this is probably like the Stormies took over like the spaceport sort of security sort of station or something, right? Like, it's not an Imperial facility sort of thing. It's just a
Not
bunch
yet,
of Stormies,
yeah.
like in a kind of
They just
more
kind of
frontier
said,
type.
yeah, it's our jurisdiction now.
Mm.
Shut up. Do what do we say? Cool. So he brings you in, releases the binders, pulls off his helmet because we're doing TV type stuff. So you come up with excuses to remove the helmet. What exactly went down?
I didn't see anything, officer. I didn't hear anything, officer. It was like that when I got here, officer. The stuff that happens.
Did they
No-
come in
no-
on you? Because that's what
What's
it looked like.
It's our bar, right?
Yeah.
But no need to bring Imperials. It's just small business for you guys, right? Why make a big deal out of it?
Somebody fingered you guys. Made the call right away. Feel like someone sent those crickets your way. Someone's trying to set you up.
The Womp Rat tail. I couldn't just leave it at the Womp Rat tail.
What do you mean?
Listen, do you really want to know? I mean, do you really want to know, Sarge?
Listen, I'm trying to help you guys. I
Yeah,
like your
yeah.
bar.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I gotta know.
well, let's just say there's a certain somebody who's a bit jealous about, the sort of music we've been putting on recently, the good gigs, the atmosphere, and he's been trying to cause trouble, and I guess Cutter was probably right, But anyway, I mean, that's probably as much as you want to know, right? Like, right, Sarge? I mean,
Listen, we got to finger somebody for this.
well, the crickets are right there.
Yeah. Well, Commander Argall's really not going to just let one side take the fall. So
I hear it was Max Rebo.
you kidding me?
No, Max Rebo was there.
I heard he was there
Yeah.
last night.
And he was inciting all kinds of rebel talk, And it really upset us patriots. Then the crickets came in. Maybe they're rebels.
All right, let's see if you can convince him to go with this lead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think in any way I am like actually misleading Sarge. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Sarge is.
No, you give him a line that he can sell well enough. Yes.
I'm not ruling against my ability to convince Sarge of this obvious bullshit.
Nope. He wants to believe this bullshit, but can he carry it forward?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably being cool, isn't it? To be fair,
I think it is.
It's a 1. Is it Jaw? Talking my way out?
It's definitely Jaw for sure.
Yeah. 3. Does disturbing the peace come into it? Oh, it's sort of like the after effect of disturbing the peace, I suppose. But
yeah, but about fighting cousins. I'm gonna say I like to be flexible with the expertises. So because this is about that thing, maybe you can point out a few details you remember. So we'll let you bring that in. It's going to be hard, and tension is involved in the role here.
Yeah. 4. I will spend 2 carks. 6. And I'm like, Paul raises a good point about this Max Rebo's piano still being there. I mean, who knows what we might slip in there to cement this deal, right? Like,
yeah, that could give you a benefit.
Yeah, but at this point, so I'm on 6 dice. No whammy. No whammy. One cark and 5 successes.
Wow, that is awesome. Wow. Sarge says, there've been some rumbles. There are rebels here. You need to keep the orbitals out of the way, because there's an Inquisitor on the base now. Okay, this Max Rebo thing sounds good. I can sell that. I can sell that. Big popular person to take down. He's still at the bar.
No, I think you might be trying to make a run for it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And only guilty people run, right?
Filthy rebel scum.
Yeah.
All right. Claps you on the shoulder. Where do you want me to hit you?
And I think we just cut away and then hero.
Yep. And that's your cark, is that he's got to sell it by roughing you up. Cool. Then we cut to the 4 of you being released on your own recognizance after signing some forms and papers. And there's a stormtrooper that so Grupper, as you're starting to leave, there's this, you're walking and there's a stormtrooper that like shoulders you and then laughs a little bit to his buddy. You're in a hallway. You can actually see daylight outside. It's bright. It's right in front of everybody else. They just saw you get shouldered. What do you do?
I'm gonna do some subtle nastiness. I'm gonna sort of stumble, but turn around and touch this stormtrooper on the back and wipe some. I'm gonna pull some spew off my top and wipe it down the back of his pristine white stormtrooper.
Right over the 0, 1, and 1 in the back there.
Sorry, officer. Sorry. Yeah, so I want a bit of vandalism on him.
Oh man, that's nasty. I love it. Let's put it to a roll. Tension is involved because if he discovers it, he's gonna give you a little beat down right here. I think I'm gonna give you vandalism. If you want to go vandalism, that sounds fine to me. I'm gonna say that this is normal difficulty, but tension's involved.
I'm not too sure what style it is.
I feel like you didn't wail on him, so I think you're being cool. I'm sorry.
Cool. No, that's fine. Cool. And I think it's palming basically. So hands.
Yep.
3, 4 with vandalism.
Yep.
And I'm throwing a kark.
All right, so you're rolling 5. You need 4, 5s, or 6s. 1s will draw down your karks up to 2 potential to be lost here.
2 successes.
Yeah, you got it exactly, but
lose 2 karks.
Yeah, you lose 2 karks. Like you slime him, and one of the stormtroopers laughs, and that stormtrooper is, I think he hits you a couple times. But Sarge comes in and calls him off, drags him off, says, get out of here. But the Sarge is laughing, and that stormtrooper who we already have in the NPCs, TX 422, he hates you, Grupper. You've made a fool out of him. Snotted him. So you guys get out. It's morning. It's been 1 day since Grupper's returned. You just narrowly missed getting thrown back into the spice mines. And I think that they didn't, you don't have swoop bikes. You got to walk back from the detention center towards your lovely bar.
So this is what they call the walk of shame.
When is Captain Pashina going to drop off the A-Wing?
I think it'll be there when you guys get back.
Okay.
Because that's also got to be kind of hot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's a thing where Pashina might have brought it
military
earlier, but some stuff happened, and maybe he isn't going to bring it to the cantina now. I think that would be a very unwise thing. So on your way back, you get a calm hype from Pashina. He says, change of plans. I still want you guys to do the work, but it is too hot. Orbital is too hot. So here's what you do. Down in the tunnels, one of the bays I got to set up. You can do the work there. Bring your own equipment. Good luck with it. I got to sell it soon, so don't screw around. And don't let Grupper near it.
Oh, Pashina, yo fishy foso.
Yeah, you too.
Basically, like, yeah.
The Gripper's actually got 3 tools, I notice. He's actually really good at this stuff.
He's very good at this stuff. But so you can ignore Pashina. But that's evidently he's got bad blood. Maybe why does Pashina have a little bit of bad blood with Grupper? Did Grupper rough up one of his Void Vulture team? Did Grupper used to be a part of the team?
I think that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I think I was part of the Void Vulture, but should we say they kicked me out?
Ooh, why would they kick Grupper out?
Well, I'd like to think a swoop gang is meaner than a vulture crew. So yeah, I was too mean, too dirty.
Too dirty. I like it.
Like it indeed.
Cool. So, with our remaining bit, I think we got maybe 1 or 2 scenes we can squeeze out here. You guys are rolling well on karks and doing okay overall. The crickets go off their own way. You know that things are going to continue to escalate with Unmo.
So, you know, like
Got the engine too. So what do you want to do?
you know, we can take it. We got to strike, but we got to get back at Umo, guys. Like he's not gonna set this whole thing up. You know, bought us some time, but you know, you were right. Okay, I was wrong. I thought, you know, I thought we could leave it at one rat tails and soups, but yeah, clearly Umo's not listening. Umo thinks hasn't got the right idea about things. So, what are we going to do about it?
I think Cutter turns to Grupper. It's like, I think Cutter's like, hit him hard, and then looks at Grupper like, are you with me?
We definitely hit him hard, Cutter. Definitely like the good old days. They knife one of ours, we send one of theirs to the morgue.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Juice is a little trepidatious. Like, what if we do it right now? They'll know it's us. Like, we should do. They started with Womp Rat Tails. What if we do something subtler but more damaging? Who doesn't love a bar? There's no such thing as bad publicity. We got it worked out fine last night. We should I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Unmo's famous for his drinks, right? What if we swap his supplies?
Yeah, or introduce something into his drinks so his patrons suffer a brownout.
Ooh.
What if we put some engine coolant in there?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Let's get even, Cutter. That's what we need to do.
Cutter just kind of hangs his head and is like,
and then we can beat them up. Juice will
throw him a bone. That's great. Cool. So you guys have a plan. The plan is that you're going to sabotage Unmo's tavern.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. We got time. Let's cut straight to it. Unmo's tavern is nice. It's nice. Like Unmo cares a lot about this tavern, and it's come into money recently too. It always had just a primo setup stage, excellent sound system, some pretty good local brew, microbrew stuff going on. It's classy. Unmo cares a lot about this place.
I think we're gonna spike his drinks basically, right? We need to contaminate his product, and that's either one of us sneaking in and like contaminating physically, or we're doing something to the product before it arrives at his bar. Like, as the cargo, the freighter drops off the stuff, right, of the little the crates of Corellian microbrews and Tatooinian sand wine and stuff like that, and
sand wine is amazing. I'm writing that down.
It's a classier version of Jawar juice, right? But yeah, and we can, if we do it further up the supply chain, then obviously we could do it in a variety of different skills, bribing someone, threatening someone, stealing, whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh yeah, we could have some sort of like micro sort of flashback scenes, but maybe not flashbacks of different people doing different things.
Yeah, the montage effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
it.
That's cool because we can get everybody involved, or people working in pairs. I think that sounds cool.
Juice, what's your piece of the plan? What are you doing to contribute?
Juice is gonna go to his old friend. Can't tell if that's an O or an A. Sierra. They are the Spaceonomics garage person.
You're absolutely right.
And I think call in some old debts that Sierra owes on some races that didn't go their way, and have some of that shipment redirected for a moment to a particular docking bay before it's moved and sent over to the tavern.
Cool. Let's put this to a roll. If you fail, then he's going to give you the correct information, but maybe someone overhears, or maybe he sells you out if you blow it. Tension not involved in the roll, but failure could be sucky for you.
What's the
Make sense?
difficulty?
I'm going to say this is something you do pretty regularly, but Sierra doesn't like rolling over, so I'm going to call it hard. You're going to need 3 successes.
I think this is being cool. I think this is using my head.
Okay.
That works.
I think so. Absolutely.
And it's not exactly extortion.
Is it?
But is it? I think it might be bribery, because I'm willing to forgive, a little bit of the debt here, if you work with me and let me know.
Okay. All right. So we're clean. Regardless, we're clear.
We're clean.
Okay.
So that's 7.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
You need 3 successes. Let's see how this goes. Again, tension not involved in the roll.
That is 1. Shoot, that is 2 successes.
2 successes. You needed 3. He says, "Okay, yeah, I'll get it redirected. We'll say that there's some customs that they have to deal with, unexpected. That's no problem." And he seems on the up and up, and I'll tell you, he is. But Urina's on the take, and she's gonna rat you guys out. So,
Sierra, me poco, yeah.
and he has this little, they have the suction cups on the ends of their fingers, so he gives you a suction company handshake, and he's very conciliatory. It's good. I'm glad we're clear. This is great. I'm definitely gonna not run up with tab like that again, and he ushers you off. But meanwhile,
but there's a good race next week. Yeah.
This little proboscis mouth kind of, oh man. But then Urina, she goes off to a little comm unit, and she makes a call, and we hear her speak Huttese over the comm unit to whoever she's speaking with. What's the next step in our plan, Hype?
So we've got the product redirected. I think we need to someone to tamper with it, right? To add the poisons and everything, right? Like, I was thinking maybe Grupper might be good at sort of like, with his tools and his like ability to sort of like break open these crates, put them back together again perfectly, like fake the seals and everything from the smuggling days or something.
Could I put out a little suggestion if people like it? Maybe remember it. If not, it's crap. We'll put it away. In between sessions, people come up with a quick little montage scene of them sort of doing some micro tampering, and then we'll play out those scenes dead quick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or if people just want it on one roll, but everybody comes up with a little sort of like ditty. I mean, for myself, I'm probably, you can see me at some sort of like brewery tour, and I'm with the tourists. I've smuggled something in, and you see me tipping this substance into the sort of vat as we walk by. My shoelace. That's an idea. That's something I came up with for myself. But
Okay.
I'm sure people can look through their skill sets and come up with something pretty cool.
Yeah. I was going to say that Hype's role in the montage was to, we redirected this shipment to a different thing. So to make it all line up, I've got to leap onto the cargo drive and race it across town to drop it off, like with a baseball cap, like tucked down over my face, like, slapping it on and like, hey, no problem, buddy. Yeah, you enjoy. Yeah, I'll see you next time. And then turn around and lift the cap up, kind of thing. And
Nice. What's Cutter's piece?
Cutter's piece is actually there at the cantina. There's like a water pipe coming in, and he attaches like the activating agent. I don't think, to keep this stuff from being detected as it comes in, it's inactive. But he puts this little canister, and we see this water chug down, this liquid chug down into the water supply. And this is whenever they wash the glass, or whenever they add a little bit of water or ice or anything like that to it, it's got that activating agent in it to get it started.
Nice. Excellent. So you guys work out the plan. You've cooked their ale and their sand wine, and everything is delivered to Unmo's. And we see there's a hut there at Unmo's Tavern. A hut who is referred to as Gorga the Younger. And Urena comes in as things are being delivered. Gorga's on a little palanquin, a floating palanquin. He doesn't have 60 people carrying around. He's younger, so he just has a cool floating palanquin. And Urena comes up and she says, in hut, we have subtitles. I told you they were going to do this. That's poisoned. And Gorga says, I know. Well, why aren't you stopping this? Well, this is exactly what I want to happen. Thank you for letting me know. And Urena seems a little confused. You're going to let people get sick? Not too sick. And then Unmo will need me even more. You see? He hands big handful of credits to Urena. She looks around and grabs it, scampers off. And with that, we'll bring our session to a close from the story pursuit. But at the end of each session, we get to go some experience questions. So these questions, there are 3 questions for the entire group, and then there are 2 questions for each individual Swoop Biker. So did you clash with someone who threatened your people, your club, and the locals who matter to you?
Yes, that we clashed with the cricketers.
Yeah.
And the
Clashed with both. Did you add to the legend of your gang?
I think that party was pretty legendary.
Indeed. Did you have a conflict with a rival or the law?
yes.
Both.
Indeed. So 3 XP for everyone. Also 3 XP for Danielle. Let's just remember that we need to
Are
assign
you going to add
You
it
wanna-
or tell her?
Do you want to add it, Rich?
I will add it. I am adding 3 XP to slide 2, 3. All right. Next questions. These are individual. Please, I'll make myself a note about Danielle. Ask her about it. I'm really bad at that thing where you make a star. Like sometimes I go, who even knows? It's the weirdest thing. We will start from the left-hand side of the character keeper, heading right. Cutter, did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role or rank in the gang?
I think I did, yeah. Or that whole fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely an enforcer. Did you support another member of the gang when they needed you?
Someone I tossed out a cart to early on, and I'm trying to
I think
remember
you
what that
did.
situation.
You did toss a cart.
To
I can't
Danielle.
remember.
Danielle.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it was
right.
for
Kel to help
Slide
fix
fixing the
something,
bike.
That's right.
There we go. That's 5 XP for you. Then I'll ask Danielle later. Hype, did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role?
I think I did. Yeah. I was definitely the representative with an outside organization.
Did you support another member of the gang when they needed you?
Yeah. I woke Grupper up from his Jawa juice induced spew. Coma, yeah.
Juice induced is a great phrase. Nice, clever, well thrown. Grupper, did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role or rank in the gang?
I definitely think I lived up to my rep, self-made and maybe thrown upon me.
Oh no.
Oh
Anybody
man.
else?
Oh, there we are.
Kark,
Paul,
that's
you
for sure.
froze for us for a sec.
Oh, sorry. Did you hear me, or did it not come through?
Yeah, did not.
Did not. I think I lived up to my rep, whether it was self-generated or thrown upon me, but I didn't help anybody out. So
Okay,
only one.
4 XP. Juice, did you live up to your rep?
I kept Max Rebo in line, so that was the job of the founder to try and keep us solvent. Yeah.
Awesome. And then did you support another member?
Throwing the glasses kind of counts.
Sure. And actually, I think mechanically you helped there too. So we will count it. That is 5 XP for you. Excellent work, everyone. Now we end the game with feedback. We start with wishes so we can end with stars. Who'd like to kick out a few wishes? Or a wish. I don't care.
Yeah, more of this. I'm seeing this a little bit sort of Animal Housey. So yeah, a bit more down those vibes for me. That's what I'd like. But anything's good from you, Rich?
Okay, thank you. You guys are scruffy nerve herders, it seems. There's still some dark edge that slides in every once in a while, which I like too. Cool. Thank you, Paul. I'd like to go next with wishes.
I would like to see more of this, the Hood cartel or whatever, basically using this exploit, this conflict to basically like, well, Umo, you need friends, and like essentially that's them encroaching on our turf, right? Like bigger organized crime. I want to feel that pressure and hit back hard on that, as well as do the scheme with the A-wing parts. Like I would really love to have some swoop bike scenes.
Yes, I agree.
I will echo that and frame it in. I would like to see a swoop race, whether or not we are necessarily participants. Juice is probably not a participant, but certainly betting on it. So yeah, because I put a little seed in there at the end with but there's a really good race coming up.
Yes,
and then
I
we also
appreciate
have
that.
There's the A-wing thing too, right? Like we're going to try and put an A-wing engine on a swoop bike or something. So
that's bananas, by the way. I love the idea of that. Basically got a pod racer. It's great. Thank you, Greg. And thank you for seeding in that new play. Steven, what about you? Wishes?
I'll say the same thing. I'll just back up what Will had to say. That basically, this seems, this session seemed like getting to know everybody and seeing us all in action and that kind of stuff. I'd like to see kind of more of a focal point. What's the ongoing story for the rest of the sessions? Yeah.
You bet. Cool. Steven, you went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars. Do you have 1 or 2 stars to throw out?
I really liked Grupper's fear of going back into the clink and then like, oh, what'd you do to my bike? That scene felt very good. And I also liked, even though Danielle isn't here, I liked Slide's, attempts to kind of even everything out, and then failure and like, oops, that didn't work. So yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. Greg, do you have a star or two to throw out?
Just start everyone for sometimes interacting back with Juice in Hades before I even had time to explain what I had said. I kind of enjoyed
that was so wild. I loved that. Awesome. Thank you, Greg. Will, any stars left?
I really enjoyed just the introduction of Gruppa coming off the thing and then like die. I could imagine that really cinematically, like from his view, like the blinding light and then like slamming the filter down kind of thing.
That was cool.
It was really evocative. And yeah, obviously Juice being everything like, like, oh, I let you win that race. Oh, you took the fall for me, I guess. Like, they immediately kind of like painting yourself into the backstory, but it not all like it being quite negative in a lot of ways as well. I love the idea of a Bucky Doug, basically like layers upon layers of criminality and skullduggery. It's good.
It was good. Yeah, I love the new characters. Paul, what about you? Any stars?
Yeah, actually yourself for a great game, Rich. The voice thing there, Greg. I thought it was phenomenal. Not just with the software and stuff, but what you did. Will, for the sort of reluctant leader. Leaders' roles are always hard, and I think you did that really well. And Stephen, I think that scene that you sort of created in the prison cell could have been a lot of dead space there, and I think you really sort of sorted that out, and it had some really good mechanical effects for everybody. So thanks for really leaning into that and picking something good to do in that scene. Excellent.
Cool. I really love the new folks we have on board. I appreciate that. This has been a super good game. I'm glad we have 3 more sessions to get all of this fun going in. Thank you all so much for playing. And with that, we'll bring the session to a close. Thank you all.